order. Can we do a roll call?
Sure, absolutely. So we have Chair Carter
Here.
Vice Chair Bluth. Oh, can we just get a verbal confirmation?
Here.
Thank you. And then we have Committee Member Hunter,
Present.
our new Committee Member Ostovar.
Here.
Thank you. Committee Member Polly,
Here.
Committee Member Schmidt,
Here.
and Committee Member Tregenza.
Here.
Thank you.
Does that mean we have everybody? Awesome. Welcome to our new member. On city staff, we have Fernanda, Jennifer, your hair looks fabulous, Jennifer, Sarah, and I think that's all, correct? Okay, great. Then we are going to open the consent agenda. And for our consent agenda today, we have the approval of the minutes from December 16th. And is there any discussion about that? If there's no discussion, I'll take a motion on that.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda. This is
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Tregenza.
Committee Member Bluth seconded that. Is there any further discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, we will go to a vote. Roll call, please.
Sure thing. So we have Chair Carter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Bluth,
Aye.
Committee Member Hunter,
Aye.
Committee Member Ostovar was not present, so I'll note that. Committee Member Polly,
I wasn't present at the last meeting.
oh, that's right, my apologies. And Committee Member Schmidt,
Aye.
and Committee Member Tregenza.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Motion carries. We're going to open public comments. And if there's any member of the public who would like to make a comment about an item not on the agenda, they can feel free to do so now. You will have 3 minutes.
We do have one attendee in the Zoom meeting right now, but first I just want to announce how other people can get involved and participate. So we do encourage members of the public to join using ZoomGov because it is secure specifically for government agencies. It is also streamed live on youtube.com/City of Monterey with approximately 10-second delay and on Comcast channel 25 with up to a 90-second delay. If you would like to provide public comment, please join the meeting using Zoom or by telephone, making sure you join in time to accommodate delays. To join the meeting from a computer or phone, use the link or phone number on the agenda posted at isearchmonterey.org. Since the meeting has already started, you will find the agenda under the recent tab. To join by telephone, please dial 833-568-8864 toll free. There are a couple other numbers also listed on the agenda at isearchmonterey.org. If that first one doesn't work, please try one of the other ones listed. Our webinar ID for ARC is 161-914-9563. If prompted to enter in participant ID, press pound. And detailed instructions on using Zoom are also available at monterey.org/public meetings. Once you're in the Zoom meeting, to make public comment, please raise your hand. In Zoom, there's a button, or in the app, there's a button. If you are connected by phone, please dial *9 to raise your hand, then *6 to unmute yourself when called upon. You are again allowed 3 minutes, and that concludes my speech. So we are ready to take the first public comment.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Sure thing. I've just allowed Marta Kraftchuk to raise her hand. To speak.
And do you have the timer?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marta Kraftcheck. I spoke to you last month about MPUSD's plan for a large parking improvement project at the district office, 700 Pacific Street in the Monterey High School campus. Pardon me. This afternoon, I'm here to speak to the historic Carmel stonework at those locations that MPUSD has destroyed or allowed to fall into disrepair. I sent you a document earlier today as I feel the city of Monterey should be aware of these historic resources and work with MPUSD to protect and preserve this stonework. MPUSD has shown little interest in preserving the historic stadium bleachers and did not even want to admit their history until concerns were voiced during the recent comments on the draft EIR for the Monterey High School Stadium. As noted in those comments from the historical consultant Pam Daly, which you received attached to my letter, it was recommended that MPUSD retain the services of a historic architect that meets the Secretary of Interior standards for professionals to assist in development of the plan to preserve, restore, and rehabilitate the physical attributes of Monterey High School Stadium. Ms. Daly states the concrete steps first put on the slopes of the stadium in 1917 are historic and distinctive. Recently, during construction of the Science Center, these steps were apparently damaged. The repair is obvious. There was no attempt to match the mortar, and Carmel stone was removed. In addition, no effort was made to match the rise and tread of the rest of the historic concrete staircase. All in all, a hasty patch job. As you can see from the pictures I sent, there are many more areas throughout the campus and at the district office where the historic stonework is present, but currently at risk from parking improvement project. Our city of Monterey has always prided itself on our history, so I ask that you act now before this historic stonework is removed or further damaged. There is a presumption that school districts will comply with local zoning ordinances. This is shown by the draft EIR for the stadium project, whose comment period ended last month, which included analysis of the project under the city codes of Monterey. Unlike the federal properties of the Presidio, DLI, and the Navy Postgraduate School, public K-12 school districts are local agencies, and school district property is subject to city zoning and building codes. According to the Monterey General Plan, the following policies apply to MPUSD. Policy A2, encourage review of proposed public facilities of all agencies by the City Planning Commission. Public D1, work with MPUSD in school site planning. Also, California Government Code 53097 states that the governing board of the school district shall comply with any city or county ordinance for regulating drainage improvements and condition, regulating road improvements and conditions, and requiring the review and approval of grading plans. All of these are relevant to the parking improvement project that proposed at Monterey High School. As City of Monterey officials, please take an active role in the oversight of current MPUSD construction projects and ensure that they comply with city codes and zoning. I urge the city to help protect this stonework for our future generations. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for joining us.
That was the only public comment. We do not have anybody else attending the Zoom meeting at this time.
Thank you very much for that. Then we will close public comment at this time, and if we get any other ones, we will, of course, listen to them. We will have the first public appearance item, which is consider 758 Grace Street, application ARP 20-0194 for preliminary and final architecture review of a second-story addition and exterior alterations to an existing two-story single-family dwelling. Do we have a staff report?
So before you do that, I'm going to have to recuse myself. We have good friends who are neighbors to that house, and so to avoid the possibility of appearance of conflict of interest, I think it's probably better that I bail out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Thanks for
not
being
a
here.
worry. Good luck for the meeting.
Could you turn off your camera and microphone?
Yeah, I was just going to log off completely.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
Okay. Bye, guys.
bye.
Bye. Great. Yes, I have a presentation ready. Can you see the presentation in full screen mode? Okay, thank you. So this project is for 758 Grace Street. It's a second-story addition and exterior alterations. And the neighborhood that it's located in, it's New Monterey on Grace Street. The zoning is R15, which is single-family residential zoning. And the square footage of the lot is roughly 5,800 square feet. And there's an existing two-story house located on it. I took some photos of the existing house. It's again a two-story house. On the first story, there's a garage and bedrooms. And on the second story is the living area, like the living, kitchen, dining area. And the proposed second story addition and alterations consist of reconfigured porch area and the railing of the existing second story deck would be redone. And then there would also be a 45 square foot enclosed stairway that would connect the first and second stories internally. This is the view of the existing house from the rear. And this shows again the proposed second story, which is the enclosed stairway on the left, and then a remodeled second story deck railing on top of the garage. This is the existing second story. As I mentioned, the living area is on the second story, and there's a second story deck here. There's also a little balcony that faces toward the rear. And the proposed second story is keeping the second story deck here, but removing the balcony that faces the rear. And then reconfiguring the interior to make it a more formal layout of a kitchen, dining area. And here the bathroom would be moved. So the bathroom right now is facing the rear, and then the proposal is to put it up in the front of the house. And here's the second story, the interior stairway that would connect the second to the first story. Currently, there is no interior stairway connection. So in order for residents to go from first or second story or vice versa, they have to exit the house and go outside into the elements to do that. So this would add functionality to the house. And then this is an exterior alteration that is proposed. It's a covered patio structure. And I will show you what it looks like at a photo later. The first story, this is the existing first story. This is that patio that I was talking about that is proposed to be covered with a structure. But basically there's an entrance here that goes into bedroom number 3. And then here's bedroom number 2 and bedroom number 1. And again, this is the first story. And there's an existing a full bath here. And the bedroom number 2 has a door that leads into the garage, into the existing garage. And so the proposed first story, it's an interior remodel. They're keeping the same entrance to bedroom number 3, but adding a covered patio structure and adding closets for the bedrooms. And again, this is that interior stairway that would connect the 2 stories, and an entrance into bedroom number 2, a laundry room that would then connect to the existing garage. So this is a view of the existing versus proposed front elevation. And on the left is existing. So this shows the existing windows and door and porch area. But here is the reconfigured porch area, which would move it a little bit toward the left. The stairs would move slightly. And in the second story railing is proposed to be solid in the front elevation, but it's proposed to be the penetrable railing on the other sides of the deck. So these are photos of what it would look like. So this is that covered patio structure that I mentioned earlier that would cover people people that are entering that bedroom number 3. And the reconfigured porch would move the stairs a little bit to the left. And then the second story deck here would be solid. And then here you can see that second story addition for the enclosed stairway. So it's a little bump out right here. So the proposal meets all zoning ordinance requirements. It meets all setbacks, lot coverage requirements, floor area requirements. And since there is no, the proposal is not expanding the footprint of the house. The only footprint that is expanding is that enclosed enclosed stairway. And the exterior materials that are proposed, they're proposed to change from what was existing. So instead of the vertical board and batten siding, they're proposing horizontal, it's called horizontal white fiber cement siding. And the roofing would be dark brown composite shingles. Windows would be a combination of vinyl, wood, brown trim windows. And the doors would be a combination wood, metal, brown doors. And so in order to approve this project, the ARC must make the required architectural review findings. It must find that the siding, form, mass, and architectural style are appropriate. And staff found that the house is keeping the single-family residential character. So the project would meet these findings because the siding, form, and mass would stay the same. It's just that the architectural style would slightly change, but it would still maintain a single-family character. And then the project does not unreasonably impair views, privacy, or living environment, because again, the only additional square footage is that 45 square foot enclosed stairway, and it wouldn't block any existing views for the neighbors. The project is also consistent with all city plans and design guidelines because the design is sensitive to the environment and to existing views, and the second story addition is negligible. And the exterior finishes are appropriate in that they keep the single family residential character. Again, the shingle roofing is typical of single family residences. And the white fiber cement siding is also typical. And the windows, vinyl wood combination is also, you can find it in many houses in this neighborhood. And so staff's recommendation is to approve the project as presented. I am available for questions, so feel free to ask, and the applicant is also here.
Thank you, Fernanda. Are there questions for staff? If you have any, you can go ahead and jump in. Okay, hearing none. Do the applicants have a presentation or would like to say anything?
No, no additional comments, unless yes, anybody have any questions.
Okay, are there any questions for the applicant?
No questions for me.
Do any committee members have questions for the applicant?
I had maybe a couple basic questions. It looked like
Yeah.
there's composite shingles and also the fiberboard. Just making sure these sound like they're improvements in fire prevention. Just wanting to make sure that's true.
Yeah, it will provide more fire resistance. It is a fire resistant material. The siding is hardy board, essentially, and also has a better aesthetic than the vertical stripes we have today.
Okay, and then just lastly, it's a minor question just about kind of some of the trees and landscape of the area. Are any trees being removed? Any other modifications being made to kind of the surrounding landscape of the house?
Yes, I have applied and got approval for removing a tree in the front that has developed disease over the years, and the roots has damaged part of the driveway. I have had that removed and replaced with a 15-gallon plant in front. So I will be adding additional landscaping to improve the front view of the property.
Okay, yeah, I don't think it applies too much to this project because it looks like the changes are so minimal to the storyboarding, but sometimes it can be kind of a can be shown kind of inappropriately if neighbors think that they're not going to see something, and then the trees get removed, and then all of a sudden they see what they thought they couldn't see. So that was just a question trying to clarify that, but it sounds like for the most part this will be such minimal modifications to the existing footprint of the building. So that's good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay. I'm going to open it up for public comments. Jennifer, do you want to announce how public can make comments one more time?
I sure would. We highly recommend using Zoom. There are instructions to join posted on today's meeting agenda at isearchmonterey.org. Please click the link on the agenda to join and then follow the instructions on the agenda to participate. You can also join by phone. Please dial 833-568-8864 toll free. The ARC webinar ID for today is 161-914-9563. And once you're in the Zoom webinar, you can make a public comment by raising your hand with Zoom or pressing *9 to raise your hand by phone, then *6 to unmute yourself when called upon. And again, there will be a 3-minute timer, and there are no commenters or no attendees in our Zoom webinar right now.
Okay, great. Then we will close public comments for now, and if anybody joins us, we will certainly listen to them, what they have to say. Do any members of the committee have comments about this item?
I'll jump in. I think
Go
this is hi everybody. I think this is a really nice improvement to the existing residence, and it looks like it's well thought out, and it's going to be a huge improvement on their daily life, having to not go outside to get, something from their bedroom or whatever he did. So it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's going to really help the neighborhood. So I'm all for it.
Anyone else have any other comments? Nope. Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll throw it out there. Motion to approve 758 Grace Street application ARP 20-0194 for preliminary and final architectural review of a second story addition and exterior alterations to existing two-story single family dwelling.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Great, that was a second by Shelley. Is there any further discussion about this motion? Okay, roll call vote.
Sure thing. We have Chair Carter,
Aye.
Committee Member Hunter,
Aye.
Committee Member Ostavar,
Aye.
Committee Member Polly,
Aye.
Committee Member Schmidt,
Aye.
and Committee Member Tregenza.
Aye.
Thank you. That was unanimous vote.
So that carried unanimously with one recusal. Okay, so you have your architecture review permit. Congratulations. And this also can be appealed to the Planning Commission within 10 days. Thank you for being here, everybody. And are there any other committee member comments? I just want to welcome our new member again. Hopefully we'll be back together in person at some point, and we'll have Shelley with us too. And I'm glad to see everybody again. It's been a while. Does anybody else have anything?
Yes, I'd like to also welcome our new ARC member, Payam Ostavar. And I wanted to give him a little opportunity to introduce himself if he desires. This is his first ARC meeting, so I'm sure he has questions. So Payam, do you have anything to share with us?
No, it's I enjoy being a participant in areas of my community, and I think this is a great opportunity to do that. I've served on similar boards in other cities in the past and find it really rewarding to participate. And it's a great way to get to learn about and know my community better as well, and learn from all of you. And so those are really parts of why I like to be involved in things in my community is just getting to know it better. And then of course, being civic minded, participate in that outcome. So I'm sure I'll have some, there's different ways of doing things in each of these committees, and I'm sure I'll catch up soon if I miss anything by missing a protocol or something like that. But thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
You're a landscape architect, right?
Yes, sorry. As a profession, I'm a landscape architect, and I've lived here in New Monterey actually for about 3 years now, and have done public design work for a long time. And then initially, when I moved here, was doing kind of high-end residential, and then now I'm back to largely public work, which is fantastic. So.
Thank you. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
So we provided our planning office update in the packet, and I don't have anything to add. We are tentatively scheduling a project at 832 Helm Street for the next ARC meeting, but it's still tentative, and it was a one-story addition, but staff is referring it to the ARC because of neighborhood concerns.
Great. Okay, well, with nothing else, I'll adjourn the meeting at 4:30.
I got one quick comment question.
Oh, sure.
Zoe. The presentation, the public comment by Marta Krafchek, and her really nicely slide presentation that she put together. What are we supposed to do with that? Are we supposed to like maybe take that on as an individual citizen basis or as a committee? I mean, she makes some really good points about, is anybody really overseeing the work that's being done at Monterey High? And I know they just built this new science building, and who's watching, like, other than her, like, that they don't just rip out Carmel stone from 1917 and throw it in the landfill. I mean, is it the school district? Is it Monterey High? Is it city planning? I mean, who's kind of overseeing all that so that something terrible that doesn't happen, like I think she's afraid of? So
Yeah, like just as another part of that, some of the concerns she raised, I don't know if she's raised them to the Historical Preservation Commission as well, or committee, maybe
You did.
more applicable, but I agree with Patrick. It's something that at least ought to be given the appropriate review in the right forum.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I would chime in on that too, because it's just as an architect that does primarily residential work, on a lot of projects, we get the book thrown at us for stuff like that. We get in serious trouble for tearing down historic walls, and there's nothing worse than to go through the right channels and hire a historic consultant and take apart the wall and label the stone and put it back together when we're done, and then to look at a public government building just blow stuff out. So yeah, I'm glad Patrick brought it back up, because I was curious, like, is that project going to come back to us, or is that just going to go to the state architect for schools? Like, what happens with that project?
So yes, I'm not sure if it was Martha, but we did have other public comment about this at the HPC and PC meetings. And the city attorney is aware of it. So we don't have a formal response yet, but we can come back with an informational report to you. And we're also doing that for the HPC as well, because there was, so initially the city thought that it had no purview to review this project because it's on school district property. We are still figuring out what our formal response is to this group of people, including Martha. So
That was going to be my question.
yeah, I will get back to you at the next meeting with an informational report.
When is that project scheduled to begin, the improvement?
I have to find out as well.
Okay.
So I will make sure that we provide as much information as possible at the next meeting. But it's good to know that you're interested in it, so that helps me agendize it for next time.
Fernanda, because it's a school district, they're not subject to the city's zoning and other regulations and policies. Am I understanding that correctly?
They are exempt from some city requirements because I think, like Justin said, their building goes to the state architect. But I have to get a formal response from our city attorney's office.
Is he also looking to see if they're subject to state guidelines like CEQA, which includes
They are.
Oracle? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I would just be curious to know how much control the city has over it.
Yes, we're still reviewing that. This is new to us.
Yeah.
So we're still preparing a response.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments about this?
Just thank you, Patrick, again for bringing it up. I think it's good that we are talking about it. And it does seem like, I mean, it is a civic structure to the community. And so it's understandable that people are thinking of it as something that's important for for some form of review or oversight. And I'm glad you guys are thinking about it as well.
Okay. More to come on that then. Thank you all.